Om Namaste everyone. Namaskar. Namaskar.
Yasya sannidhimatreణ dehendriyamanodiyah vishayeshu swakiyeshu vartante preritaihva. This shloka is from Vivek Chudamani of Adi Shankara. That by whose presence the body, the sense organs, mind and intellect do perform their respective functions like servants. In whose presence? In the presence of that consciousness.
This morning, Neelakantanji sent me something about Ram. That was very nice. I thought he might talk about that, but anyway. And today is Ram Navami. It's the birthday of Bhagavan Shri Ram. And it is a very, very auspicious day, not just for Hindus, but everyone, because what Ram signifies is that absolute. Ram doesn't mean a person. You can say he's a person who was born to Dashrath and Kaushalya in Ayodhya. He was Ram. But the Ram is also that essence which is in each and every particle. Ram is that which is in our heart, in Hridayam, the core, the essence is that Ram in everyone. And Kabir says that beyond these three forms, Ram is that which you cannot bring on your lips. You can't explain. You anirvarchiye. You can't explain it. You can't bring it on your mouth. And through which this whole thing is, whatever existence is, that is because of that Ram. And so you start knowing the Ram in a form and a name, and the power of that name is that it takes you, transcend you. And I'm not talking about someone like Hanumanji from the ancient times who took Ram Nam and got, or Valmiki. But even in these times, there was a saint in Maharashtra in 17th century, Samarth Ramdas. He wrote Das Bodh also, Das Bodh, and he got enlightenment at the age of 24. And he was, his mantra was Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. And then there was another Ramdas, Papa Ramdas, who was devotee of Bhagwan in Anand Ashram, who started in Kerala. He also did with Ram. And Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, who was also a devotee of Bhagwan, just by saying Ram, 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 Ram. I'm talking about from that ancient Treta Yuga even to now, recently, and even now in Kali Yuga and recent times, people by the name of Ram, they have attained that. And if you look into other religions like Sikh religion, the most common name of God is Ram. Ram keeps coming, Hari and Ram. In Guru Granth Sahib, which is considered to be the guru, last guru of in Sikh religion, that book, Guru Granth Sahib. And also in Puranas, in one of the Puranas, Shiva is telling Parvati that I keep saying Ram, 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 Ram only. And that is the most beautiful word which I keep reciting all the time. So I'm saying this because for some people it can be aid even in self-inquiry to bring, to keep your mind calm and purify it. So it can, you can strengthen your mind so it can delve deep into self-inquiry. It is so powerful. And you don't need any initiation because it's the name of Absolute. It is so powerful. So Ram, and I think I can read if I can find that message sent by Neelakantanji today about the word Ram. So Ra denotes Agni, Bijam, that is the fire. In Tamil language, we do not use Ra in the beginning, Eraman for Rama, and Ma stands for our ignorance, that is causal body. That which burns away our ignorance is Rama. Saint Tyagaraja in his song Eva Rani in the Ragam Dev Amruta Varshini says, Shiv Mantra Munaku Ma Jivamu Madhva Mantra Munaku Rajivamu. In the mantra Om Namo Narayana, if you take away the letter Ra from Narayana, Ra, it becomes meaningless. And similarly in the mantra Namah Shivaya, if you take away the letter Ma, it becomes meaningless. And I read somewhere that these two mantras, actually combination is Rama. Shankaracharya in his Atmabodh Shloka 50 says, I'll just explain the meaning. After crossing the ocean of delusion and killing the monsters of likes and dislikes, the yogi who is united with the peace dwells in the glory of his own realized self as Atmaram. So Atmaram is for that in our heart. And to signify it on a day when it is Ram Navami, birth of Ram, there is story of Ram, and it is very symbolic story also. If you see, Sita had this liking for a golden deer, which you can say our desires. She went for it and was kidnapped by Ravana. Now Ravana is like Maya or illusion. When we are full of desires, we are being kidnapped by the Maya, illusion, and taken to across the ocean to Lanka. And then realizing that now I am in a trap, the devotee is asking for liberation and saying Ram, Ram. And because of your longing, Ram, who actually went and helped you to get that golden deer, actually now helps you to get out of the illusion, comes there and brings back to the self, Atma Ram. So all this is so symbolic also. If you look into these stories, they are very symbolic, that we are lost in this world because of our desires, our attachments, our likes, dislikes. And once something after that we realize, no, this is not peace, this is not bliss. I don't want these things. I just want my Ram, my pure self. And then you cry for help or you look for it. You get a teacher, you get a teaching, you get a method, and you are pulled out of it, back to the self. So I believe this, such an auspicious day, helps all of us to be in that Atma Ram, that pure self all the time. Some people think that we can't use one method over the other, but it's not the case. Even in Bhagavan times, Bhagavan have said, a lot of people in India during those times also used to do this Ram Japa. And he was okay with, if that's working for you, if you want to do that. He said, yeah, that's fine. Because there is not one method which you can say fits everyone. Everyone needs a unique method for their own upliftment. And at the same time, a person can use 2 methods or 3 methods also at the same time also, or successively also. So there is nothing about rigidness in this. It's all whatever works for you is right. Whatever name works for you is right. Or no name works for you, that is also right. Because what is right is to be there. Whatever method you use doesn't matter. The whole idea is constant remembrance of self. Whether you remember by a name, by a form, or by just abiding in your pure silence, by not getting into your mind, your thoughts, your daydreaming, your self-talk. And sometimes these things are very powerful. Some breathing practices and Nam Japa. As Bhagavan used to say, all these practices makes you ready for this jump, for self-inquiry. So people who are finding it is hard to be in self, and they are swaying out of it even in spite of working with self-inquiry, these methods can be used. Even some saints and sages says that for Kali Yuga, japa is the easiest, because people have no time for self-inquiry. But I think self-inquiry is so straightforward. The biggest benefit of self-inquiry is you can do it whatever you do or you're not doing, wherever you are living. You don't have to sit on in a particular pose. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to do a japa. You just have to constantly remember and contemplate on the self only. Constant contemplation on self actually gets us into the Sahaja Samadhi directly, without Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is in which people get into self when the mind is like in a sleep but not dead. And then when you come out of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the mind again comes out. Bhagavan used to say it is like you put a bucket full of water in a well and it's dipped inside the well, so you can't see. But the moment you come out of Nirvikalpa, the bucket is full of water. But if the water of individuality, as a river, when it merges into the ocean, there is no coming back. That is Sahaja Samadhi. So self-inquiry actually takes you directly into Sahaja Samadhi. It merges your mind in the Absolute. Mind merging in Absolute. You become ignorant about the word. The only thing now you remember and you experience and you abide is in pure self. Someone has written, Ellen has written, and Neem Karoli Baba, I think she's saying yes. Yeah, I agree. Neem Karoli Baba mantra was only Ram. That's what he gave everyone. If you keep looking into the list of people who use Ram, there is innumerable list. Mahatma Gandhi was the biggest example of it. Even when he was killed, the only thing came out of him was Hey Ram, because it was constantly going within him. All these japas actually act like alum. When the water has impurity, you dissolve it in it. All the impurities are settled, and the water becomes pure. And in that purity, you attain silence. As Bhagavan says, for mature seeker, just look within and be in your silence. Contemplate only on your silence. When we move in silence, we only move in silence. And this movement is actually stillness. Things move and we are only there. Body moves and we are there. Action happens and we are there. Everything moves except us. Let's say you are sitting in a train and train is moving. Then you are also moving, isn't it? You jump out of the train. Train is moving, but you are still. But you can say that when the body moves from a distance A to B. That means I am also moving. Now that awareness is still and everywhere. Where will it move? The body moves in awareness. All bodies come and go in awareness. Everything manifests in that awareness. Awareness is only stillness. When we identify with body, we are moving. When this identification is lost, we are still. Sometimes when you see a yogi, a jnani in samadhi, their body is still, it's not moving, nothing, no movement happening. And most of us think that is samadhi, that is, there should not be any body movement. Yes, that's correct. He is in samadhi. There's no movement. But if movement brings mind back, that means it is only temporary cessation of the mind. But when the realized being is moving, acting, doing, then also the samadhi stays. Because his identification with the body is completely lost. But for others, it might appear that he is doing. But for him, there is no doership, no karta bhav that I am doing. This is the only difference. In ego mode, sometimes we have not done any task, or maybe little bit, but we want to claim that I have done it for someone or something or good. Or if bad has happened, then also we try to detach ourselves that I have not done it. But after realization, no connection is left by which we can say that I have done good or I have done bad. Actions of the body, suffering of the body, good health of the body, whatever happening with body, there is no identification. That is mukti, that is liberation, that is freedom. Otherwise, if I am the body idea is still there, there cannot be any freedom for anyone. When our identity with the body is gone, then body's interaction with the world are also none of our concern. In this uninvolved state, we become out of this dimension of time and space where there is a name, there is a form. But now there is no one to claim also that I am no name and form person or presence, nothing. The one who wants to know disappears, and only that knowledge is left. Now, that knowledge is the knower, which was always the knower. So, there is no newfound knowledge by anyone. See the paradox. The one who was crying to be the king, I want to be king, I want to be king, I want to be king. Finally, on that pursuit, he finds that he doesn't even exist. Or if he exists as that eternal king who was always the king. How mysterious this whole thing is. It is so close that it is us, and so far that we can't grasp it. Yesterday I met Tanya and David, and they were both talking to each other that a lot of things we don't understand nowadays, and what is happening, not just interest, but somehow nothing is registering. For any person who is always switched on for everything, it's a big loss, isn't it? But I think for a seeker, it should be the time to celebrate that things are dissolving. So many things. More you attain your silence, more you have no clue how things are happening. But somehow the things are happening which are making you more peaceful and happy and contented. I don't want to say in this silence you become more prosperous or you get more money out of it, because that is not the purpose of this energy. But whatever is happening, it is bringing more peace and peace and peace. When we start opening to it, somehow it brings us into this environment which is more conducive for further opening. I don't want to say that that situation would be good for ego or comfortable, but whatever it would be best in your life, in your own circumstances, to firmly and effortlessly establish in that energy. This coming back home, this is all arranged by that only. In a way, you can say it is all grace. We have millions of thoughts. Why this thought came to this body, that I should know that. And that too, to that extent that I took a path and started working towards it. Why it happened? Isn't it grace? Compassion of divine to liberate this body from this bondage of ego? Abide in your pure silence. No activity happening here. All activities are external. Bodily, mind, worldly activities, changing situations. We are the only truth of all truths. Not as body, not as mind, but that pure unchanging awareness, which is unborn, stays always the same. Changing states of mind has no effect on it. This pure awareness is the seat of mind as well. And then this mind give rise to body and this everything what you see. This vast infinite looking universe, all product of mind. That mysterious power coming from you. And you are uninvolved. Stay as that uninvolved all the time. As if you were uninvolved in deep sleep. Take that same awareness from deep sleep to awakened state called Jagrat Sushupti. Waking deep sleep state. Bhagavan used to describe this state as, let's say someone is sleeping, a child sleeps early at night, in evening he got tired and his parents wake him up, feed him, and he goes back to sleep again. If you ask him next day, sometimes he might complain that you made my favorite food and you didn't wake me up. And parents say, look, you had food and then you went to bed again. But he can't remember. This is Jagrat Sushupti. Things happening, or maybe important things happening with this body only. But there is no doer. And so there is not even an individual memory to memorize that I have done this or that. Bhagavan gives another example that sometimes there are really good musicians of classical music who used to come and play different things, instruments in front of Bhagavan. And he says, I just remembered that they started. And then I don't remember what they played or who played. Actually, it is a scary for a lot of people, a situation like this, that things in this world are not registering to us. And we are the people who register too much of things. We become paranoid about things. Even things which are not there, we see those things also. People have not said words, we interpret in our own conditioned mind. And then to a state where activities are happening and they are not registering anywhere. We are just floating in things. This is pure energy. Have faith in this energy. This energy, when you surrender to it, even you don't know what is happening, it takes care of everything. Something takes care all the time. But our petty ego takes credit of things. This is the problem. Like I can give you an example. Sometimes I see people who are severely disabled, intellectually, physically. They live in supportive accommodations. 2 carers bring them, they serve them, they feed them, they dress them. They are seen by doctors, they move, they have not idea what is happening. But that power is making sure that they are getting all the care, isn't it? You can say they have no say, they don't know. But then some power is so compassionate that it is taking care. That same power is taking care of all of us. If you think we are able-bodied. But this ego thinks I am taking care of myself. I earn my money. I work hard. But who has given that intelligence to work hard, to earn that relative knowledge by which we can earn something? What will happen if suddenly we have a stroke or a brain hemorrhage or something like that? Then also some help will come from somewhere for us, isn't it? You call it family, friends, society, government. But that also comes from that energy, isn't it? What to be proud of? Without any fear, without any inhibitions, go deeper and deeper into this. What is the fear of death? It will definitely come to body sooner or later. How does it matter? Some people are very, very conscious about their body. They're always looking in for good health. They're always taking care. I have seen people who are very particular about because they want to have a healthy body, healthy life, and want to live longer. They also pass away like this sometimes. And then people say, he did this, he did that, he was so fit, and suddenly one night he was found dead. That means the body can deceive us anytime. Only thing which will not deceive us is the name of Ram. You remember that. We have not one example, thousands of examples. When Mahatma Gandhi was shot, it was all of a sudden just a bullet. It went in. The only thing came out was Ram. What this signifies, you can talk anything about that man, I don't care. But what I am saying is what was going in, it came out. And then that man was man of action. He did everything what he could do for his country in the most non-violent way. This is the power of that energy. Then on the other end was Bhagwan living in South India, contemporary to Mahatma Gandhi, not moving from that Arunachala, just staying there. And even now, after so many years, 74 years, still we are taking help of the same energy, working in all of us. Because Mahatma Gandhi's energy was to liberate his country. But Bhagwan's energy is to liberate all of us. Whatever you give to that energy, it fulfills it. Dipali, do you want to ask something? Can you turn on your video?
As you were talking about let go, matlab not to consider the body so much and taking care of the body throughout. Before cancer, that was not. But after cancer, it has happened so that I'm learning different modalities to heal myself. And honestly, more than God, I've shifted in taking care of my body because I'm scared that I don't want this to happen again.
You are saying taking care of myself.
Yeah. But then, like, I'm noticing, I'm like doing affirmations, I'm doing mantras, I'm doing lot of modalities I'm doing now to heal. Like, earlier I was totally in complete faith. I do have complete faith still, but I find myself going in that direction more than this. My more time is spent in those healing modalities rather than this. And then I tell myself I'm doing this to heal myself and to heal other people who might be going through the same thing. And this is again a conflict which goes on in my mind.
It is all about identification. You said very clearly that I am healing myself because you think yourself is this body, isn't it? So the sadhana should be to recognize what you are. I think whatever you are doing with your body in your ego mode, and you have fear of losing it and you don't want to lose this body, isn't it? I think that's what you said.
No, I have no fear. I have no fear of losing the body. I have I've told my husband that give it for experiments and everything. I really have no fear of death also, but the fear of those pain and the whole process which we went through, that scares me.
You have come out of the tunnel on the other side. What is the fear now? You have already done and dusted. You should be the one who should be the bravest to tell all of us that nothing to fear.
I am doing that. I am going out of my way to really tell people to get screened and not as much as possible. I'm doing that. But one part of me is going more on this. So I just wanted to talk to somebody about it who could guide me properly.
I would say whatever treatment you are getting and you want to get it done, there is no problem with that. But take disease and suffering as tapas. Tapas means getting more established in that self as awareness and watching all this suffering of the body as a witness to it rather than involved in it.
Can I take 2 minutes of yours?
You are already taking it. Yeah, keep going.
I want more. I want more. The thing is, so I had done Reiki earlier. So we had this thing in whatever emotions we've stored in our body. So I still have a lot of anger and resentment towards my in-laws. So after the cancer, that was the first thing in my mind, that I want to remove all anger and resentment from my body. And that is the reason I was doing this.
Okay, that's good. Whatever you feel good doing it and getting rid of anger and resentment, that's very good. That is what I was saying. For everyone, there is a method. If you think Reiki is the way to go, then go ahead. Get rid of resentment and anger by Reiki. That's all okay. But finish it. Don't leave a trace of that resentment and anger.
No, that is true. That is true. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure how many people were there when one of the persons explained only a week before he died of brain tumor in our group. And how beautiful his smile was. Not sure whether his wife is there. I don't want to say much. If she is there, she can speak, but she attends sometimes. Probably she can raise her virtual hand if she is there and she can talk about him. I always feel that people who have some disease by which they know there is a limited time span on this earth, their journey goes very fast, super speed, if they are seekers, because they know there is no time to waste. Sometime you go visit palliative care and people have, their faces are glowing with that energy. They are so contented and happy. more than the one who is on a vegan diet and going to gym and doing a marathon and all sorts of superfoods. And this person is only on a drip, maybe, or sometimes nothing, nil orally. But the face is glowing with that energy. Sometimes I would say you should read or see those pictures when Bhagwan's last days, last 1 week, you can say. There's only one picture which is, I think, a week before he left body. But people who went there, they found that energy was so powerful. It was just in the air. And he made sure that everyone should come there. Everyone should have darshan all the time. I remember when I was many years ago, I had a friend who was running Theosophy down under in Melbourne, and he was a librarian. And he had a friend, and she had some sort of a cancer and was dying. And this man's name was Andrew, and we used to visit her. And then when I heard, then I thought I will visit, and then we both decided to meet her. She was in her mid-80s. But the family said it's a very private affair. We don't want anyone to come. You know, sometimes we take a very different approach if we are non-spiritual. We think we are making that life as private. There's nothing private. Even this body is not private. That privacy is keeping us individuals. Otherwise, we are everything. In disease, in suffering, if we keep our energy as a witness to everything, suffering will definitely be less. As Bhagavan said, the whole body is in pain, but there is no suffering. Like when Dipali was saying about what she has gone through and she doesn't want it to happen again, definitely whatever happened to the body, she is thinking it is happening to her. It has happened in her own conscious mind. And with that, the fear of that suffering is there. And you don't want that nightmare to come back again. And so you become so particular about different methods by which you don't want the disease to come. There's a lot of resistance to things. We have to move from this resistance to acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that you give up hope or you don't do anything to treat or cure. But acceptance means whatever comes, I am not the body. The body has to go through something. Let it be. Let it be. There are groups, and in Western world, everything they talk about like a resistance, fighting Parkinson's. It has happened to your body. Whom are you going to fight? Are you going to punch your face? I don't understand this. Fighting. Everything they say, fight cancer within you. How would you fight? This fight has created the cancer. Anger, resentment has created. How much more you won't fight? Why don't you surrender now? Why don't you live in harmony? The moment we start living in this harmony, all the immune system, neuroendocrine system, it all starts working normally. We should all make this clear choice in our head that whatever happens to the body, we will not lose our peace and our abidance in truth. Living or dead, we should be abiding in self. We are so much involved in these names and forms that we get out of that substrata what we are. As if we get fearful of our own shadow. These forms are our own shadow. What of being fearful of? And loss of this form is not loss of me. But the problem is intellectual understanding is of no use. You have to experience in your heart. And for that you have to do that hard bit. You have to walk within. You have to move in. You have to sit with yourself. And you have to give up what you think you are, which is all creation of your own mind, your thoughts. And this is a constant sadhana. Constant. Not just sitting in satsang for an hour and then thinking, yes, all done and dusted. And then rest of the time just staying in this maya and acting with your greed, anger, resentment, fear, all sorts of egoistic tendencies, and then thinking you will be free one day. The one who wants to be free has to be dead while living in the body. This is the truth. That has to disappear. And then what is actually living will live forever. You have to die to live forever. The one which dies and then born again and dies and born again, that has to die completely for you to live forever. This middleman has to go. Then whatever it is, it is. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. Om Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone. Thank you.